It's a beautiful day out. Yesterday I saw a deer. If you solve this next test, maybe I'll let you ride an elevator all the way up to the break room. And I'll tell you about the time I saw a deer again.
Things haven't gone well for Aperture Science. After vanquishing the malignant GLaDOS AI, Chell has been dragged back into the depths of the laboratories and placed under long-term hibernation. Some untold centuries later, she is awakened by Wheatley, a metal ball AI with a Cockney accent, who then attempts to lead Chell out of the rapidly decaying facility. Along the way, GLaDOS is accidentally restored to operation and is eager to get her favorite test subject back into the battery. Portal 1 was less of a story and more of a character study, but with more characters comes the instinct to add more of a narrative, and in that respect, Portal 2 is ill-equipped for the task. The overarching plot hinges on paper-thin motivations, and a twist near the game's middle reeks of decade-old cliches. That said, none of it matters in the slightest. The script manages the impossible and packs even more wry jabs and floaty sarcasm into every line of dialogue, and the new cast members play their roles to the hilt.
This plate must not be calibrated to someone of your generousness. I'll add a few zeros to the maximum weight. You look great, by the way. Very healthy. Try it now.
Hey, bird, right? Couldn't believe it either.
You seem to have defeated its load-bearing capacity. Well done. I'll just lower the ceiling.
J.K. Simmons in particular seems to have been born into the hard-nosed Cave Johnson, Aperture's founder. The star of the show is still Ellen McLean's GLaDOS, especially with the larger range afforded by the game's plot.
We're not going to release this stuff into the wild until it's good and damn ready, so as long as you keep yourself in top physical form, there'll always be a limo waiting for you. Say goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
She is a gem.
When you're not waiting in hallways for all the funny dialogue options to cycle through, you'll be mulling over Aperture's latest puzzle room. In addition to the iconic dual portal device, you'll have to contend with the launch pads, light bridges, several types of ability-enhancing gels, and more objects designed either to kill you or transport you, then kill you. Despite the new mechanical rogues gallery, Portal 2's leisurely game-long tutorial pace, managed even at 3 times the length of the original, allows for new snippets of tech to be introduced all the way into the final act. The downside to the game's tripled girth is inevitable padding. While light years away from the tedium of most inflated games, Portal 2 developed an intrusive habit of mixing up platforming segments in between puzzles that barely use the game's more fun mechanics. Eventually, these sporadic excursions find their stride in delivering some excellent atmosphere. That may sound like a nitpick, but when the puzzles are this good, it's irksome to be pulled away. Whether in the single-player or the new cooperative campaign, the dozens of challenges in Portal 2 neither hold your hand nor toss you into the drowning pool. If portal hopping alone doesn't sound appealing, Portal 2's new cooperative campaign is entirely separate from the single-player story, taking the role of either Peabody or Atlas, a pair of newly minted test robots with a kind of Abbott and Costello dynamic. Players can take on a much more complex series of test chambers in either split screen or over the internet. This gauntlet is expertly designed for communication, with later levels requiring mixing gels and redirecting lasers across several portals. While not bleeding edge in any respect, the wonders of Portal 2's presentation are in the details. Machines look like believable piles of cogs in varying degrees of decay, and stark test chambers are countered with creeping greenery. Portal 2 also manages an immersive sense of scope this time around. Its more cavernous spaces peppered with debris tumbling off in the distance. It's the physics that everything relies on, and we are happy to report that the grandfatherly Source engine can still handle everything thrown at it with masterful results. Valve has managed to evolve a simple concept into a AAA experience. The narrative feels like a poor man's BioShock, but most will hardly notice it beneath the hilarious back and forth and the intricate puzzles. What works has been improved almost to an excessive degree, and with it comes a presentation that surprises in its scope. A stellar co-op campaign round out a package that is certainly more than what you expected. It almost goes without saying that we can fully recommend this title for purchase.
I didn't see the deer today. I did see some humans, but with you here I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.